Actual cream of our nation's youth. And this initiative reflects our firm belief that the future of Pakistan must be co authored by our local and global talent. We are living in a moment of both profound change and historic opportunity. Pakistan, like other countries, faces economic, environmental, geopolitical, and institutional headwinds. But we also stand at the edge of transformation if we are bold, strategic, and inclusive. And for you, I must also share an overview of our development journey because you are all very young and known in South Asia. Privatization of state enterprises, liberalizing the economy, opening up of the economy, making policies to encourage private sector. But unfortunately, after 2 years, that government was dismissed, and so were those policies also thrown into the trash can. But India, which borrowed those policies at that time, late Mr. Sartaj Aziz was our finance minister, and Mr. Manmohan Singh was India's finance minister. So Mr. Manmohan Singh asked Mr. Sartaj Aziz that our businessmen are demanding the same policies in India which you have introduced in Pakistan. So would you be kind to share the SROs and the copies of the notifications which he shared with him? As a result, India introduced the same policies after in their country, but they continued with those policies for a decade as a Vision 2025. I'm not sure how many of you will remember. In 2013, we did not have electricity for almost whole day, 16 to 18 hours, there used to be load shedding. UPS generators, which people installed in their homes, would not get enough electricity to recharge the batteries. As a result, people resorted to candles and lanterns to get light, and there was a headline in one of the newspapers that Pakistan is back in Stone Ages, because in Stone Age, people used to get light by lighting the fire. That was also the time that Newsweek had put Pakistan as the most dangerous country in the world because of the law and order and terrorism that was prevalent at that time. Not a day or two would pass when there would not be a suicide bomber in any part of the country, killing himself and also killing dozens of innocent Pakistanis. Karachi, which is our financial capital, had reached a point that any person who left his home in the morning, his wife, mother, or daughter would sit on the prayer rack and pray for the safe return of her father, spouse, or brother in the evening. And Karachi was almost unlivable. On any day, if we had in the news that today there were single digit killings in Karachi, people would take sigh of relief that today was a peaceful day. Otherwise, dozens of people used to get killed in terrorism, in other criminal actions in Karachi. So that was the kind of Pakistan that we inherited in 2013. And at that time, we set our direction and our eyes on a new future. And we crafted Vision 2025 with the help of the top minds of the country. And this vision set that goal that by 2025, we will be, inshallah, in the top 25 economies of the world. We were fortunate because we were sincere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped us with many new initiatives, one of which was China Pakistan Economic Corridor, that brought in almost more than $25 billion of investment into Pakistan, helping us overcome the energy crisis as well as building some modern infrastructure in the country. And result was that in 2017, PricewaterhouseCoopers released a study saying that if Pakistan continues on this trajectory, by 2030 it would be in the top 20 economies of the world. What did that mean? It meant that if we had continued that trajectory, by 2030 we would be part of G20. And by 2025 we would be in the top 25 economies. At that time, 2025 looked far distant, but 2025 is here. So in 2018, unfortunately, there was a regime change in the country which was brought by that establishment at that time. Few judges and generals were part of that conspiracy. Well, such things happen in the country or other countries also. But regime change should not necessarily mean that you also reverse all those policies that were working for the country. But the new regime that came, it reversed all policies. And the first and the foremost victim of that reversal was China Pakistan Economic Corridor. All those Chinese investors who had come here, they were forced to leave, and the flocks of investment which were landing in Pakistan went to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and other countries, and we lost that great opportunity. For 4 years, we did not have any alternate plan. Vision 2025 was put in cold storage. The only narrative for 4 years nation could hear was that everyone not with the government was Chor and Daku. And I also was labeled as one of the Dakus and put in the jail in Adiala jail for constructing a sports complex in my district. Unfortunately, as a result of that victimization that was carried out, the whole government machinery stopped working. In this very ministry, which I left in 2018, officers were called to NAB headquarters and pressurized that you must give statement against the minister, otherwise we'll put you in jail. So that harassment and victimization took away any initiative that government officials had to make decisions. So for almost 4 years, it was no decision in any department. Files would move around and no one would like to put their signature on even a decision of 10 rupees anywhere. So, it is good to have a bad decision than to have no decision, because you can always correct a bad decision, but you cannot do anything with no decision. So indecision eats the whole system like a cancer. So that is what we suffered. Subsequently, on 1st of April 2022, now government still had not changed. We reached a point where there was an internal default in Pakistan. In this ministry, which is responsible for managing the development budget, 1st of April 2022, Finance Ministry said, we don't have a rupee to give you for the last
And then she was
quarter
like,
release
yes, it is.
of the development.
Furthermore, I feel like
That
that being
actually
born
meant
and raised in
that
Pakistan,
internally we had defaulted. And at that time, if you recall, people were betting that how long would it take for Pakistan to default like Sri Lanka, whether 4 weeks or 6 weeks. After 10, 12 days, there was a government change through no confidence. PDM government came, in which almost all political parties were part, and that in a way was a national government. And I must give credit to the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, who showed lot of courage to take some very tough decisions to bring back Pakistan's economy on track, because we were almost on the verge of collapse, and it is not easy for any politician to take those tough decisions which IMF was demanding to implement the plan which previous government had signed with them. So IMF said either take it or leave it. And we know we did not have the option of leaving it because we were at the brink of default. So we had to swallow that bitter pill. And just to give you one example, that we are all educated, experienced, and we know what would be the impact of increasing oil POL prices by 150 rupees per liter in 1 month. We are not, novices. We all know what can it do, because we were already having high inflation in the country, and if you increase 150 rupees per liter fuel in 1 month, it will again spiral the whole thing. But was there an option? No option. And in this country where Ayub Khan's government fell for just increasing price of sugar by 4 annas or 25 paisas, price of oil and diesel increased by 150 rupees per liter, there was not a single protest from Karachi to Peshawar. It made the life of people miserable. Inflation went wild, but yet there was no single protest anywhere in the country. Why? Because people understood that it's not their fault, and maybe there is no other way. We have to swallow this bitter pill. So, that required lot of courage to take those decisions. But Alhamdulillah, as a result of those courageous decisions, within shortest span of 2